in lesson 9.6.5, we're going to write an equation of a line in slope-intercept form given the slope and 1 point, or given 2 points. So when we do this, we're going to have a couple steps here. All right, this is a new formula that we haven't worked with before, so let's make sure that we get this down. Okay, y minus y1 equals m, which still stands for slope, times the quantity x minus x1. Okay, because if we're given the slope, obviously we can put it right there. And if you're given 1 point, you can put the x value there and the x value there. Notice whenever it has a number with it, then that's where we actually put the numbers in. This x and y will just stand for our variables in the equation y equals mx plus b. All right, because if you think about it then, the y value here, we're just going to have to move over to this side. We're going to take the slope and we're going to distribute it inside the parentheses, and then we're going to simplify whatever we have left. And then we'll be left with the slope-intercept form of the equation, which looks just like that. All right, so let's try this out. Okay, so we're going to write an equation of the line that passes through 2, 1, with a slope of 3. All right, so let's start with our point slope formula. Y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. All right, so this is my slope, so we know this is m. Obviously, this is x1 and y1. Okay, so let's just go ahead and plug these numbers in. We're going to leave y just like that, okay? We're only substituting in y1, and y1 is 1. And m is 3. And then we're going to leave x alone, and x1 is 2. Okay, so right now what I need to do is I need to go ahead and distribute this 3. So y minus 1 equals 3x plus negative 6. Okay, just a little bit easier if we go to addition there. So now let's go ahead and add 1 on both sides. And so I'm left with y equals 3x plus negative 5. All right, and notice this is y equals mx plus b form. All right, so there's my equation of the line given just what the slope is and 1 point. Okay, so again, where do? We plugged it in here and here. We left this x and this y alone, and that's where we get our y and our x later. And then we just use the information from this point to plug it in. We distribute with the slope, and we solve for y, and we have our slope-intercept form. There we go. All right, so the same thing here again. All right, here's my point, here's my slope. So y minus y1 equals m times quantity x minus x1. All right, we need to memorize that formula. So now let's do some substituting. Y minus, okay, y1 is 5, equals 3 times x minus, and the x value is negative 2. So we have an uh-oh here, so let's go ahead and change that to addition. All right, we do need to distribute our slope, our 3. So y minus 5 equals 3x plus 6, because this changed to a positive. Now let's add 5 to both sides, and we're left with our equation, y equals 3x plus 11. Okay, and that's our y equals mx plus b slope-intercept form. Okay, so again, we're given 1 point, and we're given the slope. So y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. Okay, let's substitute. Y minus negative 7 equals negative 1 times the quantity x minus 4. Okay, I do have an uh-oh here, so let's fix that, and then let's distribute our negative 1. So we have y plus 7 equals negative x plus 4. I'm going to say plus 4 because this is plus a negative 4, and negative times a negative is a positive. All right, now let's go ahead and let's subtract 7 on both sides. So I get y is equal to negative x minus 3, or plus negative 3. But that does leave me with my answer in slope slope-intercept form, because the slope would be -1, which we already knew. It's right there, -1. And now the y-intercept we know now is -3. All right, so now what if we're not given the slope? We're just given 2 points. Okay, well, now there's an extra step. You guys remember that we learned how to do the slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, this represents us having 2 points. So if we're given 2 points, then we can figure out slope using the slope formula. And then once we have the slope, we can use one of the 2 points and the slope, and we can plug it into the point slope formula. And then we can solve for y. So there is an extra step here. All right, so it says write an equation of line that passes through each pair of points. So the first thing we need to do is we need to solve for m. And m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Let's go ahead and figure out which ones are 2 and which ones are 1. Since this is a 3, here I'm going to make it a 2, and this is a 1. All right, so y2 is 1. I'm going to go 1 minus 4. And x2 is 3, so I'm going to go 3 minus 2. So I'm going to get -3 over 1, which is just plain -3. All right, so there's my slope. Now it says use the slope and either of the 2 points to find the y-intercept. All right, so now it's point slope formula here, okay? So y minus y1 equals m times quantity x minus x1. All right, now you can use either 0.1 or 0.2. It doesn't really matter. All right, so we're just going to go y minus, let's go ahead and use 0.1 just because then it matches our ones. Y is 4 equals -3 times the quantity x minus 2. Just make sure you don't mix them up, okay? If you use this 4, don't use this x value. Don't mix up the y and x value. Use the same point. So if you're using 0.1, go ahead. If you're using 0.2, go ahead, but don't mix them up. All right, so now we need to distribute here. So we get y minus 4 equals -3x plus 6. Now let's add 4 to both sides. We get y equals -3x plus 10, and this would be our slope-intercept form of the line right here. So we had a lot to do there. That's quite a few steps. Okay, the first thing we needed to do was to find the slope. Once we found the slope, then we can use point slope formula. Plug in one of the 2 points, solve for y, and we have our slope-intercept form. Okay, so now again, we're given 2 points. So first things first, let's go y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, I'm going to use this as my point 2. This is my point 1. Now let's substitute. Okay, so y2, this is point 2. I'm going to go to my y is -2 minus y1 is -6. That is an uh-oh, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that right now. Divided by, okay, x2 is -4 minus x1 is -5. That's an uh-oh, so let's fix that. All right, let's go ahead and simplify. -2 plus 6 is 4, and this is going to be 1, which equals 4. All right, there's my slope. Now I'm going to go ahead and write my point slope formula. Y minus y1 equals m times quantity x minus x1. Okay, we have a lot of steps here. You need to make sure that you're learning your formulas. Make sure everything's in the right order. You have this formula down. You have this formula down. Now it's just a matter of substituting and solving. Okay, so we're getting to the easy part here. Okay, so y minus, all right, y1. Again, I'm just going to stay consistent. This is 0.1, so I'm just going to use it. It doesn't matter which one you use, though. You're going to get the same answer. Okay, so y1 is -6. That's an O, so I'm just going to fix it as I go, equals the slope, which is 4, okay, because we solved for that right here, times x minus, okay, x1 is negative 5, and that's an O, so we'll fix it. All right, now I need to do some distribution, and let's go y plus 6 equals 4x plus 20. Let's subtract 6 from both sides to get y equals 4x plus 14. Okay, and that is the slope-intercept form of the line through the points -4, -2, and -5, -6. So it has a slope of 4. We can see that it's increasing. We can see that it crosses the y-axis at positive 14. Okay, airfares. The table shows the average fares for domestic flights in certain years. Write an equation that can be used to predict airfares if fares continue to increase at this rate. Let X represent the number of years since 2000. So X is the years. We're going to say since 2000. So like 2004 would just be 4. 2005 would be 5. 2006 would be 6. 2007 would be 7. Because it says let it represent the years since 2000. Okay, let Y represent the airfare. So this is Y, and we're going to use the actual values. So it says write an equation of the line that passes through 5, 366, so that's this one, and 6, 378, which is this one. So 6, 378, 5, 366. All right, so we have 2 points. We know what to do. All right, M equals Y2 minus Y1 all over X2 minus X1. Let's substitute, all right? Since this is 6, let's go ahead and use this. Again, this is X, this is Y. So Y values are 378 minus 366. And we're going to do 6 minus 5. So we're going to get 1 on the bottom, and I'm going to get 12 on the top, which just equals 12. Okay, so our slope is 12. So $12 per year, it looks like. Now let's go ahead and use the point slope formula. So y minus y1 equals m times quantity x minus x1. It is important for you to write these formulas every time. I would appreciate it if you wrote this formula every time, and you wrote this formula every time with the letters in it before you substitute. I want to see you getting in the habit of writing the formula. If you write it 1,000 times, it's going to help you remember it. So please write the formulas every single time and then substitute it. You will make fewer mistakes. Yes, it will take a while. Yes, we're going to use some lead, and your hand might even get sore. But you are expected to write the formulas down. All right, so let's go ahead and keep moving. Y minus, okay, Y1. Again, it doesn't matter which point, so you know what? This time I'm going to use this one right here, even though that was my point 2. So the Y value is 378 equals the slope of 12 times X minus X1 is 6. All right, so now I need to distribute right here. So I'm going to do Y minus 378 equals 12x plus negative, okay, 6 times 2 is 12, and then 6 times 1 plus 1 is 72. All right, so now let's add the 378 to both sides. So I'm going to get y equals 12x plus, okay, since this is negative, I'm just going to go ahead and subtract it like this. I'm going to have 603. All right, and that is the equation in slope-intercept form. So this represents $12 an hour, and then, or sorry, $12 per year. And the 306 would represent like where it started. So like in the year 2000, it was at $306. And so I could say, oh, you know, 15 years from the year 2000, I could plug in the number 15. Okay, so 12 times 15, you know, we could figure out what that is, add it to 306, and 15 years from the year 2000, so in 2015, we could predict that the price of the airfare is going to be that amount. So again, you know, it's not like an exact science, but we could use these trends to create an equation to help predict where the prices of inflation and everything will go. All right, so if you need some help with this assignment, please check the answer key that I load onto Moodle.